Hello, are you here to debate?
Yes.
Okay. What is your name, age, and pronouns, please?
Hi, my name's Chad. I'm 29, and my pronouns are he, him.
Okay, Chad, what topic on the board are you calling to debate about today?
Well, I just heard your conversation with Jeff, and I just wanted to make some comments on it. To continue that debate.
Okay, are you on Jeff's side?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm on Jeff's side, obviously, but I also am kind of trying to help Jeff because, I mean, you were pretty discouraging towards him.
Discouraging? How so?
Well, I mean, he was coming at you with some goodwill. You know, he was coming at you with some, honesty about how he was feeling and everything. And you kind of just like, you're so eager to make him feel stupid and make him feel like he was dumb for believing and having faith.
He called in to have a debate, did he not?
Yeah, well, let's continue the debate.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Like, am I supposed to wait, really quickly? If someone calls me to debate, am I supposed to like hold their hand through it, or like, am I supposed to just debate them?
Yeah, debate them.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
Obviously, I get where you're coming. I get where you're coming from. You're trying to win the debate.
Yeah, I was just making sure that I'm supposed to debate. Okay, great. So Chad, you are a theist. I assume you are Christian.
Yeah, I'm Christian. So the reason, back to the thing about holding hands, I mean, I just feel like, you wanted him to be on your side, which obviously is what, a debate, that's the framework of a debate. But I mean, like, I can't see how you would discourage someone just from like disbelieving. I mean,
I don't care if he's on my side or not. He wanted to debate the validity of his religion. If you can't handle a debate about the validity of your religion without like that upsetting you, then I don't know. Maybe you're not like too tied to that religion to begin with.
No, I mean, I get where you're coming from. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so back to the evidence. So
great. What's your evidence for God, specifically the Christian God?
So the first thing is that we exist. So there's got to be something to this.
Okay, so this is just a God of the gaps argument. I reject the God of the gaps argument as like convincing evidence, because that's not evidence for a God. That's just evidence that there might have been something that created us. I can easily throw anything else into that. Right now you're saying that it's a God, and it's the Christian God specifically. I could very easily throw in a giant plate of spaghetti, because I have just as much evidence for that as you have for the Christian God.
Yeah, well, so I mean, that's just, I think that, to be honest, we have to go with, there's this creation that's much more than we understand. You take every single person, add up all their knowledge, and it still doesn't come close to knowing the full truth.
Great. How is this evidence for God?
Well, so it's evidence to not come to a conclusion and be so sure. Let's put it that way.
What am I sure about specifically?
There is a God. What am I sure about?
No, what am I sure about?
Well, you're sure that there is no God.
Correct. Why am I sure there is no God?
Because you don't have sufficient evidence.
Okay. And your evidence for me to believe that there is no God is that there could be a God. So how is this evidence going to convince me when my belief is grounded in a lack of evidence?
So well, you just said something. You kind of contradicted yourself when you said, I'm not trying to convince you that there is no God. I'm trying to convince you that there is.
Yeah. If your argument is that, well, you don't know that there couldn't be a God. Okay. How is this supposed to convince me of there being a God?
I think that's a very good place to reside in, because I'm not claiming that I know, because I have doubt.
Sure.
I'm a human. But you're claiming that you do know.
No, you are. You're told. Are you a Christian?
Yes, I am a Christian.
Then that is a claim that you do know that there is a God, because otherwise you would be agnostic. But you not only do you believe there is a God,
sir.
but you also believe
Incorrect,
in
sir.
this specific God. You claim to know that this specific God is real.
Sir, you're incorrect with your statements.
I'm not. But you can try to explain how
I believe and I have faith, but I also have doubt. So that doubt doesn't get me to a place where I say I'm 1,000% sure. Because it's been a long journey, struggling. And actually that has made my doubt recede, but I still have doubt.
Okay.
And
Chad, why do you believe in the Christian God, for instance?
You said,
why do you believe in the Christian God over like a Hindu God? Or why do you believe in the Christian God over like the Greek pantheon?
I'll let you ask your question in just 1 minute. So you said, do you believe that people can walk on water? I think in the Bible it says that Jesus and was it Peter or Paul? I haven't gotten it perfect down, but one of the disciples was walking on water and then he had doubt and that's when he fell through the water. Anyway, so back to your question.
Yeah, why do you believe in the Christian God specifically over, for instance, the Greek pantheon? Why would you believe in that God over those gods?
Well, I think the fact, like I remember you saying in your previous argument against Jeff that the people had so much to gain from making this religion. I mean, of religions, it's pretty interesting. A lot of these religions, they declare, oh, this is the most powerful person. They're the god of war. They're the god of this. They're the god of that. And they have all this power and blah, blah, blah. And in Christianity, it's kind of like this. Like, if someone's being, annoying or whatever, and you could do more, but you restrain yourself, that's like actually true power. Like if you're able to not get angry, you're able to not be violent, you're able to restrain yourself, that's a lot more power than the god of war. And it's so interesting because that's like goes against what humans, like, for survival, we're always constantly, striving to have that, to be that strong and to be in a position of, good chances of survival. And so it goes against our like instincts to believe in, a religion where the centerpiece was weak, if you want to call it that. So when you said that these people had all this to gain from creating this religion, they were actually choosing to follow something that that made them a laughing stock. You believe in this person who was crucified, the most humiliating death.
Okay, so Chad, just really quickly, a few things that are an issue here. You're not really answering why you specifically. I asked why you specifically don't believe in Christianity over one of these other thousands of religions we have, such as like the Greek pantheon. Why is the Christian God? Second, I would disagree that people were laughing at the apostles and disciples of Jesus, because
I think that
he was quite literally. I'm sorry. I'm speaking now. I gave you a chance. I asked you specifically. Second, I think it's ridiculous to claim that people were like laughing at the apostles of Jesus when the reason Jesus was killed by the church is he was amassing such a following of people that they felt threatened by his presence. And so they had him slaughtered. So this idea that people were like laughing at the apostles, I think is just like a mischaracterization of like historical events.
I'm sure that there was people who weren't laughing, but if you look
a lot of them
over the course of history,
how many people were at the hill? How many people were at the hill waiting to see if Jesus resurrected? How many people were waiting for him?
Yeah, because also in the Bible it says like, blessed are you who have seen, and but blessed even more are those who haven't seen. So people who actually saw Jesus speak, they were much more convinced than people down the line, because it became harder to believe when Jesus
Christianity is the largest religion in the globe.
I
don't think it became really hard to believe in Christianity. I don't think that's a thing ever. My question to you is, you're sitting here claiming that the apostles were like being laughed at. Where's the evidence that they were laughed at, that they weren't? People were blindly following them time and time again.
There were people that were found. Didn't a lot of them get crucified and beheaded and jailed and all this after?
Some of them did, yeah.
I mean, so you're saying that they were redeemed, they were the most admired people, no person on the face of the earth laughed at them, and yet they were
No,
jailed and
this would be
crucified.
a
How was that?
really crazy straw man of what I said. Your initial claim was that the apostles
Yeah. I never
were
learned what
were
straw man was.
your you what?
I've never learned what straw man was. I've
Okay,
heard it
a
before
straw
though.
man is when I make a claim and you take a claim to mean something completely different from what I'm saying and you try to attack that position. So my position has never been they were never laughed at or they
I
weren't
was
this
I
or
was
they weren't
thinking.
that. My position,
Thank you for bringing that definitely to my attention.
okay. My position is that the apostles widely were not laughed at, were not criticized. Though there might have been some people that did. I'm not making the claim that they were like these perfect people. I'm saying largely their movement only continued to grow after Jesus was crucified. It didn't get weaker. It grew.
Yeah, I think that had a lot to do with the. So something that after I wanted to also bring up the Charlie Kirk thing because I was on your board. Can you still hear me by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember someone saying that you know, they picked up a Bible, they started believing after they saw the peace and the serenity that came from all these Christians and what they believed in this face of utter tragedy.
Cool. They started believing based on a lack of evidence. That's fine.
Um,
That's fine for them. I don't believe things based on a lack of evidence.
well, you call it a lack of evidence. Now, I don't know if you ever watched Joe Rogan, but one of the things that he talks about is how he struggles with believing this. I think he is going to church. I think he is coming around. He has a watch class, but he says the one thing that's the most convincing is the true like serenity and like the true peace
You know
that
what I
comes from like
remember? I
true
remember
Christians.
the true serenity that existed in the year 2019 when Pokemon Go dropped and how there was like a peaceful summer and everybody loved each other and we were all just out catching Pokemon. Should I believe in Arceus, the god of all Pokemon, the creator of the universe? Because wow, look at the serenity that Pokemon brought to people for a time.
Yeah, for like 1 year you mentioned, but people have been getting serenity from Jesus Christ for
Well,
People have
2000
been getting a
years.
serenity from Pokemon since 1999.
you you can also just compare it to other religions. I mean, the thing that came to mind for me was Buddhism. Like, talk about the serenity of something, right? So why is it that the serenity of Christianity makes it true, but not the serenity of Buddhism or any other belief?
So I had a good friend who is Buddhist, and I've been to like Buddhist monasteries before. I'm not knocking. This is where I have no answers for you. I don't know actually. I know that Buddhism is incredibly peaceful. That there's so much peace in religions other than specifically Christianity. I just was bringing up what I believed was why Christianity has thrived, and it wasn't that
But
it
I'm
came
not
from a
asking
place
you
of
for
strength.
why. I'm asking you for the evidence. You said that somebody in your life, and Joe Rogan said that they came to Christianity because of the serenity here. And then when I said, okay, so they came because of lack
Yeah,
of
this is
evidence,
these
you
are just
said, well, no, they didn't. It wasn't because of lack of evidence. The serenity is the evidence. Well, the serenity is not the evidence of anything. Do you have, Chad, just to get us back on track, any convincing evidence that the Christian God is real?
well. I think that what you're doing is you're discrediting something that is wholly valid.
No, I'm asking you for evidence. Me and a couple people became peaceful is not evidence that the Christian God is real. It's evidence that people use Christianity to make
I think
peace.
you
That's all
know.
that would be
I
evidence
think
for.
I think you know that me as a human on Earth, that I don't have like pictures of Jesus,
I'm not
walking
asking for
on
pictures.
water. Or, like I don't have, you know, I think you're aware enough to know that any person who believes, it's not like they're going to like have an open and close. Like this is just so certain. It's
Yes,
all
because there
with a
is no,
degree of
yes,
faith.
because you are, yes, faith. When we talk about religious faith, it is in and of itself a blind belief. It's believing in something despite there being a lack of evidence. So if you're going to tell me that this
If
thing
I
is
may, Jovan,
true,
like,
oh yeah, go ahead, Katie.
So for your here's where I
Well,
got
no.
really.
I just wanted to.
The reason I called it because of how you were. The reason I called it because how I felt you were treating Jeff, and this is what I'm trying to get across, is that for you, you can come to your decision, and you can say that for you there's not enough evidence. But don't tell Jeff that there's not enough evidence for you to believe, or don't tell me there's not enough evidence for me to believe, when I believe in the midst of my doubt. And it has so much to do with the peace and serenity I've realized since I've accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And that, to me, is enough evidence for me to believe.
This just shows that you are a person that can believe in something with a lack of evidence. Great. Good for you.
Yeah,
I don't do that.
This is
But what is
silly.
evidence,
This
sir?
is, first of all, like, you're calling, dude, you're calling into a debate live, right? So when we're making the
Well, let's
claim
debate.
that the
Okay,
Christian God
if
is
you don't want
not
to continue.
real, oh, I'm so
Ain't no
sorry,
way.
sir. I'm in the middle of talking. Thank you. So if you're going to come up on a debate live and we're making the claim that the Christian God is not real, you're going to have to debate that he is real. And if you're going to come up and immediately say, my evidence is my faith, or my evidence is the way I feel, you have to acknowledge that that's not actually evidence. We're not discouraging the fact that you feel personally in your subjective experience that this is enough evidence for you to believe. That's fucking awesome. This is a debate. We don't care about what evidence is enough for you to believe. We care about actual evidence. If you don't want to debate whether or not God is real and you're admitting that you don't have any evidence you can show us or talk to us about other than your feelings, why not debate the aspect that we say the Christian God would be evil if he was real?
I can talk about that too. I mean, I think there's plenty of things in the Bible that prove that he is a good God. What I want to say is, like, okay, so if I had a picture in the 50s and it was a picture or a video of this person shooting this person, you go, wow, this person, this is evidence. But fast forward today, I can manufacture that. And so, like, what I'm trying to say is that what you're saying is evidence is only evidence, in a time frame. Like, okay, it has to look like this. But evidence needs to be more convincing as time goes on.
We've gotten to the point now in the theist argument in which now, instead of contending with the argument, you're saying, well, I can't give you evidence because there is no evidence that will convince you. There can be no evidence for this thing, which, if that's the case, I don't know what you think you're doing. Like, there could easily be evidence. I believe Julius Caesar existed, for instance, because I have evidence that Julius Caesar existed through historical data, through historical accounts, through artifacts, with that's why I believe that Jesus Christ probably existed. I'm asking for evidence that God is real.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going for the sky, and that's like the biggest question humans have ever had to grapple with. And I mean, when it comes right down to it, I started off by saying, like, I don't have proof that if anyone had proof, then there would be no doubt. Every single person would believe.
Yep. If somebody could provide me with evidence, I would believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I told you what I needed for my own personal sake to have as evidence, but what I'm struggling to put in, like, to put a definition on is this.
This man did not listen to a single word I said.
Evidence? What I'm sorry, you said, like, it's subjective or it's your feelings. But what is, like, the evidence that you would need? Would you need to see a photograph of Jesus walking on water?
I'm not asking for evidence of Jesus.
That would be a start.
I want evidence of God. It seems kind of weird that we have this being that is all powerful, and yet this being who has shown himself to plenty of people who have not only doubted him, but who've believed in him. But here I am, somebody with massive doubt. He won't show himself to me. Even though him showing himself to me would immediately wipe that doubt away. He's done it before. He did it a bunch. But now all of a sudden, nah, you'll figure it out. You'll believe. And if I don't believe in him with literally zero evidence, he will punish me for eternity. That doesn't seem like a good person. That seems like the exact opposite of a good person. If I said to Katie, hey Katie, there's a cookie on this plate. Yeah. Don't eat this cookie. And I come back and the cookie is gone, right? And then there's Katie standing there, and then there's like a 4-year-old with chocolate on their face standing there. And I, with zero evidence, go, Katie, you ate this cookie. I'm going to burn you for all of time. I wouldn't say I'm a good person, would I? I would say I'm probably a really fucked up person at that point.
I 100% ate the cookie and then smeared chocolate on the kid's face.
So I really want to say something that, I honestly, if I was being completely honest, I did feel a little bit against you and more for, because I felt like, that you, okay. And then during the course of this conversation, that's like evaporated. And what I want to say is that this could be that we've just grown up in a world that has been so shaped by Christianity, and that very well could be. But I think there's something so transparent about when people talk about their relationship with God and how, and then it feels like their soul is on display when they say, I went through this and I was I felt abandoned by God. I felt it. Just, to me, that, if not proof of God, is at least proof that humans in the deepest places of their soul have this place for God. Does that make sense?
No, it just sounds like you're saying people like to come up with answers for questions that they don't have answers to, and they're willing to use even supernatural things to explain that.
There's a huge difference between just coming up with answers versus like devoting, like I said, like it just seems like the clearest expression of someone's soul when they're going over this, when this is on what? Compared to any other question about life, this seems to be the one that.
I gotta be honest with you, Chad. I don't base my beliefs off of the way, like my beliefs on the universe and our place in the universe and all these other things and morality and all of these stuff that comes with the belief of religion. I don't base that off of just like the way other people feel when they talk to me. I need to base it on more concrete things. Otherwise, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to myself and those around me.
I also want to add that, like, we know why Christianity is as big as it is, and it's not because of some beautiful, like, feeling that people got. It was because of violence and colonization.
Yeah. So the thing is, I think that the superposition. You know about that little experiment?
Yes.
I mean, we're at a point where the brightest minds on Earth are just like, we got no clue. So, I mean, that's where that's what I'm saying.
This is what I was saying in the beginning. What you're doing in theist debates, it's called God of the Gaps. It's we don't know why we're here. We don't have an answer to how the universe formed, so we're going to shove a God into that answer when we could be like, there is as much evidence for you saying it's God as me saying we're a hyper realistic computer simulation. Those two things have the exact same amount of evidence.
Yeah, I 100% hear you. I get where your logic is gone and where it's, I get it. I think that when you talk about, like, you need more hard evidence, you don't just go off of people and their way of existing. But I mean, like, if you look at creation, humans, I think, are the most amazing aspect of creation. I'm a sucker for a good sunset. I love dogs. I
I think
humans
there's
are really,
I think they're way better creatures than us, like design wise. We can't even hold our own heads up for like what, how many months after we're born, whereas a giraffe is born standing up.
Yeah,
but they just
dolphins
spend their whole
only
life
like
eating
sleep with half of their brain at a
tree
time.
leaves or
I spent my whole life eating fucking double cheeseburgers. What's the difference?
Yeah, but I mean, like that's the thing. Like, you can pick that.
The giraffe can also pick. The
giraffe
picks what tree they want and whether they want to eat from that tree. But unfortunately, Chad, we are at the end of our conversation. Somebody did pay to move on. It's been over 20 minutes, and so Chat has said they want to move on. If you'd like to call back,
Savior, thank you so much. In Jesus' name, bless you guys.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Okay. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Please consider liking and subscribing for your daily dose of debates. I post new videos daily, so make sure to hit that notification button so you know when a new one drops. Also, shout out to my YouTube members. Membership starts at $2.99 and helps me to continue making content for all of you. Also, shout out to my Tier 4 members, Gib5500, Ovaltine, Sylvia Snow, Bamji, Kelsey K, Kelsey Dooley, Jake Gorshender, Marceline, Matthew Holloway, Kazim, Vampy, and Yemye. Thank you, members, for your support.